Hey, example 2a. It's already factored on the left-hand side. Does that help us? Not in this situation. Factored is only helpful if the other side is equal to 0, and it's equal to 5x. So actually, we have to unfactor. We have to multiply it out. 2x squared, outside will be minus 2x, inside plus 1x. Minus 1 equals 5x. And then we'll move everything over. 2x squared minus x minus 6x minus 1 equals 0. And at this moment, you have options. You could either factor, but it might not be factorable. You could complete the square, okay, doable, but will have fractions. Or you could use the formula. And this is why the formula wins. If anything seems somewhat tedious, well, let's just go with the formula and try to simplify. So this is my A value. This is my B value. This is my C value. And my formula says x will equal negative B. So negative 6 plus or minus B, which is negative 6 squared, minus 4 times A, which is 2, and C, which is negative 1, all over 2 times A. And now it's just a matter of simplifying from here. So, x equals negative, that'll be positive. 36 plus 8, 44. Over 2 times 2, 4. As far as simplifying goes, can you simplify the square root of 44? Yes, it's going to be 2 root 11 over 4. And one of the things that you can do to help you simplify fractions like this is you can look at every term on the top and the one term on the bottom. Is there something that divides all of them? We can divide them all by 2. So if I divide everything by 2, this will be 3. This will just become root 11, and it will now be over 2. And this is our simplified final answer. Oh, I have some plans for B. Do you want to see the plan that makes your life the easiest?
Yes. Okay.
Let's do the plan that makes your life the easiest. First of all, in order to do this plan, you have to lie to yourself a little bit, say you really like fractions, and you're sorry to see them go, but if I multiplied, I could get rid of the fractions. It's an equation. What number could I multiply by to make sure all of my fractions go away? If I multiply by 4, so I'm going to take this whole thing, and so I'm going to multiply it by 4. Every single term gets multiplied by 4. 4 times a half, that's 2. 4 times this, that'll just get rid of the 4, you get minus 5 equals, and 4 times 3, 12. No more fractions. So I really like fractions, but why make my life extra tedious? Let's get rid of the fractions. Well, before I can do any method, first of all, I should make one side equal to 0. Do you want a factor? Does it look like one that you say to yourself, yes, I want a factor? Not really? Okay. Completing the square, you'd have to divide by 2, you get fractions again. So why don't we try, you can factor, I know, this one factors. I personally would, I've already figured out the factoring as soon as I looked at it. But sometimes we don't see it right away. We say, okay, I want to go to the formula. And I like something that comes out of the formula here. So this is my A value, this is my B value, this is my C value. I'm going to get negative 5 plus or minus square root of B, which is negative 5, all squared, minus 4 times A, which is 2, and C, which is negative 12, over 2 times a. Especially when you're substituting in brackets, it's important. I mean, substituting in negatives, it's important to have brackets. I don't think you ever substitute brackets into something. So negative 5, well, that's going to become positive 5. Plus or minus, and here we're going to get 25, and this, whew, big numbers, 25 plus 96, 121 over 4. And you may notice, this is a perfect square. Anytime it's a perfect square, it's telling you, oh, by the way, you could have factored it. If it comes out to a perfect square, it's saying, you could have factored this. You were just lazy. That's okay. But I'll show you also why the formula is nice. So we're going to get x is equal to 5 plus or minus, that's 11, over 4. Well, that'll give you 2 answers. If you do the plus, can you see that if you do the plus, you'll get 5 plus 11, 16. 16 divided by 4, then x is 4. If you did the minus, 5 minus 11 is negative 6. Negative 6 divided by 4 is negative 6 over 4, which reduces to negative 3 over 2. I'm going to scroll up just a little bit. I'm going to go from this equation, and I'm going to say, hey, if I had factored it, the answers tell you what the factors are. In order to have 4 as an answer, does it make sense that one of them would have had to be x minus 4? And then to get 2x squared, the other one needs to have a 2x, right? And to get the minus 12, I would need to have a plus 3. And sure enough, that 2x plus 3 would give me negative 3 over 2 as my other answer. And you could have factored this and gotten x equals 4 and x equals negative 3 over 2 as well. But again, sometimes our mental math skills struggle, and sometimes we have mental math fatigue, where we look at a question and go, oh, I don't want to do that. That's a mental math fatigue. So I could just do formula stuff without having to really think. I mean, there's still mental math you had to do in the formula, although that mental math maybe doesn't seem as tiring. But as soon as you get that perfect square in there, it's like, oh, I missed a shortcut. Because the factoring, I'm going to say, is still way shorter. Look how much I had to write in blue to solve this if I factored. Not very much. Okay? Me personally, I would recommend, because it's really good for your mental math skills, and it helps alleviate mental math fatigue later on in your life. The more mental math you do, the less fatigue you get when you try to do it, because you're like, get better at it. So whenever possible, always try to factor first, even if it's not working. And then once you feel like, you know what, I've tried enough, Mr. Chair, I did my due diligence, I'm going to go to the formula, and then if you get that perfect square, you're like, oh, I should have got that one. Okay. Questions for this one? Oh my goodness, I am going to give you all the way from 7 to 13. Circle them all.
Oh God, that's a lot.
That is a lot.